Hey, what's going on everyone? Zoop here, and 2019 is winding down. That means New Year's is right around the corner and we're getting ready to move on to 2020. So as usual, we're going to take a look back at 2019, and I'm going to give you the 5 best premium ships of 2019, in my opinion. And everybody's opinion is going to differ, but I truly think that the 5 I have selected are by far the best premiums of 2019, and we had a lot of premiums this year. We had, as I count it, 32 premium ships. Of course, there are a couple repeats in there. You've got the Alaska and the Alaska B. You've got the Scharnhorst B, which we've already had. You've got the Graf Zeppelin B as well, and the Sims B. So those are the repeats, but still, a ship's a ship, right? A premium is a premium. We've had a lot come out in 2019, so we're very fortunate in that respect. This year's top 5 has been very, very tough. I had a lot of trouble determining my top 5 ranking. I really rankled my brain over this, and I think I came up with something that most people will probably agree with. There are some surprises in there. There are a few surprises in there that you might be like, oh, I kind of forgot about that ship. Or, I can see why you have that there. And then again, you might not think that. You might just be like, oh, this list is just complete BS. I don't like it. Zoop, you're crazy. But whatever. We'll get into that. So before I go into it, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like the video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to do that so you get news and everything else. Anyhow, there's a couple ships that didn't make the cut this year, and a couple honorable mentions that I'm going to bring up right now. And 2 ships just came close to making the top 5, but not quite. One of those is Alaska, and Alaska, I wasn't a fan of it at first, but over time it really, really grew on me, to the point that I think the Alaska is a very solid battle cruiser, heavy cruiser, whatever you want to call the class of the heavier cruisers out there. I guess heavy cruiser, right? But Alaska's a lot of fun. It can tank. It's a good ship, but it just quite didn't make the top 5. And the same goes for the USS Somers, a steel destroyer that I absolutely love. It's basically a United States Navy version of the Shimakaze, and it actually out-shimmies the shimmy. So, great ship, but again, just missed the top 5 cut. So, without further ado, let's get to the 5 best premium ships of 2019. And starting at number 5, Bayard. And some of you might have forgotten about this ship briefly, but yes, Bayard was released in 2019, first half of 2019, French cruiser, and it is a great cruiser. At first, many people were saying this ship was OP. I don't think it's quite OP, but it's got a lot of good things going for it. It's got some good HE with fire starting capability. It's fast as all get out. It's a lot of fun to just fly around the map in this ship. Also on top of that, you've got some offensive capabilities in its torpedoes, and its torpedoes have some pretty decent firing angles as well. Of course, the downsides to this ship is, of course, if you get caught broadside, you can pretty much get instablat fairly easily, but your speed just helps you to avoid that, because it really makes it hard for ships to aim at you. So Bayard, Tier 8 French premium cruiser, that's your number 5. And if you haven't played it in a while, go back and play it. I think you might be pleasantly surprised. It really is a good cruiser, and a very enjoyable cruiser at that. Moving on to number 4, we've got the Friesland. And this is the first destroyer in the top 5 list. And the reason I put the Friesland in here is it has the best damage per minute of any destroyer out there. Actually, I think it is. I can't remember, but yes, this thing fires insanely fast. You can basically hold the mouse button down, and it will keep firing without stopping. Now, you only have 2 turrets with 2 guns on the front and on the back, but it doesn't matter. This thing fires so fast, it's hard for any other destroyer to beat you in a one-on-one gunfight. Now, the odd and unique thing about this ship was it doesn't have torpedoes. But just because you don't have torpedoes, you're not lacking in any offensive capability whatsoever. You can absolutely rain HE down on any ship, cause massive fires, and that's not all. This ship is an absolute AA beast. You will shoot planes down left and right in this thing. Friesland is just a really, really strong destroyer. I think it's totally worthy of being the 4th best premium ship of 2019. Moving on to number 3, and this ship would have been number 2 if not for a latecomer, which I'll get to next. That belongs to the USS Georgia. And I know a lot of people love this ship. I love the USS Georgia. It has so much going for it. It's got the speed boost, which makes it one of the fastest battleships in the entire game. It's got the 11-kilometer secondaries. It's got giant guns, albeit your dispersion can be a little bit wonky, and it can be hard to hit things, even if they're right in front of you, because of that wonky dispersion. But still, this what could have been ship is an absolute blast to play, and it's really developed a special place in the hearts of many players. People love the Georgia. I love the Georgia. Georgia is an absolute blast to play, and that is why Georgia gets the number 3 spot for 2019. And at number 2, this is the ship that usurped Georgia, which I would have put at number 2 had it not been for this ship. And it's another battleship, the Thunderer. Thunderer came in later in the year, and honestly, anything Conqueror can do, Thunderer can do better. This battleship is the complete package. You've got great HE that can start fires, but you don't just have great HE. You've got giant honking shells that when you switch to AP, you can absolutely wreck ships up close and personal. This ship is a lot of fun to play. You start off at HE at a distance, you do some fire farming damage off battleships at the beginning of the round, and as you close in and move closer, you switch to AP for the second half of the game and just Citadel Kremlins and all kinds of other ships. Really, I've been steering people away from the Smolensk to use their resources for Thunderer, because I think Thunderer is just such a more versatile ship, and its HE can Citadel the living hell out of Smolensk. So it's got that going for it as well. Really, Thunderer is a great battleship. It's a great ship overall. It might be one of the best battleships at Tier 10. And I really had a hard time not putting this ship at number 1. A really hard time. So Thunderer completely deserving of that number 2 spot. Not only because it's one of the best premiums of 2019, but probably one of the best premiums we've had released. Now moving on to number 1. The best premium ship of 2019, in my opinion. And a lot of you are probably going to be surprised. And I'm hoping that this is a good surprise. But no, Smolensk is not the number 1 premium ship of 2019. And I'll get to that ship here in a little bit. The number 1 premium ship of 2019, in my opinion, is the Benham. The USS Benham. This destroyer is absolutely fun to play. I never have a bad round in the thing. It's just an absolute blast. You have a ton of torpedoes. You can launch on both sides. You've got great concealment. Your torpedoes reload blazingly fast. You can just keep pumping them out in perpetuity. It just makes it silly fun. I have so much fun playing the Benham, and I know that people might be surprised that I put the Benham as number 1, but I know a lot of people really love the Benham. A lot of destroyer players love the Benham. A lot of non-destroyer players love the Benham as well. Benham, in my opinion, gets the number 1 spot because it's a destroyer that offers something it's just completely different from other destroyers, especially the USN class. It's a high-tier Clemson. And I love it for that. And maybe my bias towards destroyers is showing here. Maybe Thunderer was better than Benham, but I had to put Benham at number 1 this year. I just did. I really think it deserves that spot. So that is your number 1 premium ship of 2019. USS Benham might be a little controversial. Not everyone might agree with it, but that's okay because all the top 5 ships, they're interchangeable in their places. They're all really good. They're really strong ships. And even though I say one's ranked 5 or 4, 3, whatever, it doesn't mean that that's a hard ranking. If you're in the top 5, you're one of the best ships of 2019. Now, another ship that really was one of the best ships of 2019, that I didn't put on the list is Smolensk. And the reason for that is just the issues it caused within the community. Smolensk is a great ship, and really, it probably does deserve to be at the number 1 spot. But it's polarizing. Polarizing to the point that it did more bad for the community than it did good. And because of that, I don't think I can give it number 1, let alone put it in the top 5, just for the pure poison it's caused within the community. So maybe we'll give the Smolensk a 1 asterisk? I don't know. I mean, where would you put the Smolensk? It's definitely one of the best premiums of 2019, but it's also one of the most controversial premiums of 2019 and ever. It started a very strange precedence that I don't know if we really want to go down that road. So, Smolensk, I guess, gets an honorable mention at the number 1 spot for the wrong reasons. I mean, it's got some of the right reasons, but it's it's Smolensk. I mean, what can you say about it? Anyhow, those are your top 5 premiums of 2019. At 5, we had the Bayard, 4, the Friesland, 3, the Georgia, 2, Thunderer, and 1, the Benham. I know all of you aren't going to agree with this. I know most of you might not agree with it. But at the very least, you can agree that the ships I chose are really good ships and probably do deserve to be held to the accolades that I'm holding them right now. So, with that being said, I want to know what you think the top ships of 2019 were. Do you agree with the ships on this list? What's your list? What would you put at the 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 slots? And I'm sure a lot of you have Smolensk there at number 1, and that's fine. I understand that completely. Anyhow, let me know. I'm interested. Put your rankings in the comments. And as always, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for a phenomenal 2019. We'll do a recap at some point and go over the highs and the lows, of which there were many this year. And again, thank you all for being you. I'll catch you all later. Zoop out.